So our mate Bernard Darwin, who we encountered,
Guess who's back?
he is back again. Very, very simple quote he had about Gleneagles, and he said, "The beauty of the place is beyond all question." Now, this guy obviously spoke about some courses in some really glowing terms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think coupled with what we heard from Patrick Dickinson on the last episode, visually, I think we're in for a treat. I get the feeling I'll be taking a lot of pictures,
Yeah.
and I also get the feeling they're just never going to do it justice because
Yeah.
it just doesn't, does it?
And I think it's going to be interesting how that plays out on our rankings versus the rankings of the official top 100. Because I think I'm such a sucker for the view around the golf course as much as the actual golf itself.
Yeah. Well, this is ranked 38.
Yeah.
So it's kind of meh in the middle. I'm going
Yeah,
to say
yeah.
meh. Sorry, it's meh out of 100
Yeah,
best
yeah,
courses
yeah,
in the
yeah, it's the 40th best.
in the British Isles. But
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's kind of it's nothing that
It's
you're
not
going to
right
go,
up
oh my
there.
god,
Yeah.
you're playing there.
Yeah.
You know, or you're not you're playing like a Muirfield, or you're playing like a I can't even remember now what
Yeah,
the list is, but
But I just think
yeah,
being
weird,
in
isn't
that
it? That
kind of place and just surrounded by that natural beauty, I think it's going to elevate it at least 10 to 15 places, both those courses.
I think so. I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for a good view.
Yeah.
Like the golf for me with views, the golf pales into insignificance. Like
Yeah.
I had a stinker at Silith on the scorecard,
Yeah.
even though I had some really really good holes, but the scorecard was awful.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I
But you
still
still
walked
came
away
away
from that and I
going,
went, oh, what a
yeah.
golf course! Like
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's when it becomes there's nothing different in
Mm.
your view that then becomes a bit of a thing for
I
me.
can
I'll
I
give
love
an example of a course like Delamere
Yeah.
is spectacular for that,
Yeah.
and it's different views and
Yeah,
all
I
the
just
sort
love
you know,
that those kind of undulations, and I'm a sucker for not like a really raised green, where it's stupid and it's just mega high up and like reddish 18th.
third at Silith and yeah, Reddish 83rd. Well, which is one of our Dream 18 holes.
Yeah, exactly. That's just that nice little kind of raised green, just sort of 20, 30 yards raised up. I just think that just adds a bit of majesty to I don't know, just makes you feel like
I
you're
feel like
in amongst it.
what we've played 6 courses. This is going to put us up to 8.
Yeah.
I feel like by the time we maybe close out this year, which will get us up to 16, 17 courses,
Yeah.
get the golf out of this, I think we're going to have a really good understanding of what we like in a golf course, actually,
Yeah.
just from having these chats.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out otherwise, does it?
No, it's not something you talk about generally, is it?
And I suppose it's links heavy, the list.
It is. I wonder what.
Or is it? Because there's a lot of courses down around that kind of
like
Wentworth
London
belt.
Yeah, yeah, you've got
They're
all the
inland, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Maybe
Heathland
that's
ones.
a chat for another time. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is ranked 38 out of our list.
Yeah.
We've obviously watched. So now we're on the King's Course.
Yep.
This is
The big boy.
the big one. Still not big because what is it now? It's a par 68.
Yeah.
6,125 yards off the yellows, which I think is what we'll be playing off. That's not long.
It's not. So it must be the
very
shortest we've
short.
played so far, I think, still. Apart from the Queens, obviously.
Yeah. So interesting that, isn't it? I think maybe a lot of stuff is still in play. I wonder with this as well that the 2 courses together. Brighton DeChambeau very famously said, didn't he? Like he recommends to everybody at some point in their golfing development, play off the forward
tees. Kids tees, yeah.
Yeah, and just try and score. Get used to shooting birdies and pars and going for eagles and things like that. Have that in your head.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to be doing this, by the way. That's not what I'm suggesting. However, what is interesting is that is it going to keep us interested? Do you know what I mean? During the whole round, rather than you're not holding on for dear life necessarily. I felt like I was doing that at Woodall Spa.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this one is like, actually, we can have a go at this.
Here. Yeah, even if you drop a couple of shots, you can make it back, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You've got short par 4s to have a go at.
But this is the great thing about this podcast, Chris. Normally these conversations happen in my head, and then later on you go, do you know what? I was thinking that this might be one of those, but it's out there now, isn't it? He was thinking he was going to shoot eagles and whatever. Like, look what he ended up scoring. Yeah, but I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
I watched another podcast. There are others. This is non-golf related, and one of the main subjects they were talking about was like, why are you doing it? And we said, didn't we, at the start, like we're doing it because we're documenting it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Something to look back on. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
we're putting on YouTube. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
That, yeah, your kids look back on it in 30 years' time and go,
I hope not.
they were shit at golf. Look
A
how
Guinness
bad
in one
they
hand
were. Yeah.
and a rum in the
It's
other.
a Guinness Zero. Come on, Chris. You can't claim that. But like that, having it there for that and these discussions,
Yeah.
we would never remember that. In 10 years'
Yeah,
time, we're not going to
absolutely.
remember going, did you remember? You said that Queen's course was like a par 3 course and you shot 120 on it, you know, that kind of thing. You said, oh, it's really nice to play a short course, and actually you ended up like doing the worst round, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the sort of stuff that we're going to be like. We talked about Peter Alice in the last episode, but we're going to be like Peter Alice, aren't we? Just like wispily remembering all these things from the past. So, now, a couple of things that I've picked up about the King's Course, more so than the Queen's Course. There's more videos about the King's Course than the Queen's.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
seems.
the more sophisticated course, isn't it? Obviously, it's much higher up the rankings. I think it's probably
Up with the patriarchy and all that kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably
that's-
more revered by people, so there's a bit more content out there, isn't there? I think on it.
I've written 3 words here. I didn't actually mean to put these in.
Is this the location of where of the first tee on the King's Course?
What
These 3 words?
I didn't mean to put these in capitals, like block
Okay.
capitals, but actually it's worked out really well for this segment of the podcast. So the 3 words are undulations,
Okay.
lush, and gorgeous.
Right.
And I think that sums up the videos when you look at them. You know, you look at those holes.
Yeah. I think it describes me pretty well as well, to be honest,
Yeah,
Nish.
of course. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good job this is an audio only version, but yeah, I think that feels like a magical place to go and play your golf, doesn't it?
It does. It
And that
definitely
scenery there,
Yeah.
the middle of Scotland, Perthshire,
Yeah.
Perth and Kinross, isn't it? The area's called. And like, we
Yeah.
drove through there on our way to a wedding just a couple of weeks ago, and brilliant, amazing place. And actually, I'm now getting used to my eyes getting used to this a little bit now, which it wasn't before. It was just turn up at a golf course and that's it. And you go, oh, wasn't it wonderful? Like you're looking at places going, oh, it'd be nice if there was a little par 3 there. Or it'd be nice if you could use that curvature in the land to have a long sweeping par 5. You know, that kind of thing.
I think one word that I've seen quite a lot come out of reviews and stuff of Gleneagles is the playground. And I think it almost has that kind of playfulness about it, doesn't it? I think
It
you just look
does.
at some of these courses, it's kind of I think it's probably a bit more niche in terms of the way the golf course is designed because it's probably not to everyone's taste, to be honest. The kind of undulations and the rolling hills and the raised tees and the raised greens and the blind shots, but
Yeah.
for me, that's like right up my alley. Like,
I wasn't
I'm gonna love
expecting that much undulation. I don't know why, because it is in those kind of rolling Perth hills, isn't it? So it
Yeah,
should
yeah.
have undulation and it should fit in. I think that was one of the reviews I did read said about the King's Course that you don't know the way they've done that course, where is manufactured and where is natural contour.
Yeah,
That's how well it's been integrated into the land.
yeah,
What a compliment that is for a golf course.
yeah.
I mean, that's for he doesn't need it, but the chap's called James Braid, if anybody's ever heard of him, but very famous golf course designer. And this course opened in 1919, so 2 years after the Queen's Course.
Okay.
But if he would have heard that from whoever said it, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for."
I assume
Use the land.
I don't know the answer to this, but I assume there's a royal connection there for the kings and the queens. But I don't know the answer.
I'm guessing. Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, that whole kind of playground thing, the glorious playground, whatever. You know, it's the resort is like, you know, there's shooting there. There's all sorts of outdoor pursuits, fishing, all this kind of stuff. So it feels like it's a very kind of regal, aristocratic kind of place.
Yeah,
It's obviously not now because they've let us in.
absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna bring it down a peg or two.
Yeah. You know, well, we're beefing up the Scottish economy either way. But there's obviously that connotation to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Shooting lodges and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there must be some kind. I mean, obviously it's called the Kings and the Queens course. So,
Yeah.
what's the reason for that? Is that James Braid, was he a big royalist or something? We don't
Maybe.
Yeah, one for finding out later maybe.
Yeah.
But we are playing the King's Course as we are playing with the Queen's Course. It's back to back.
Yep.
Playing with members, which is always a treat.
Yeah.
And we're playing with Hendy. We mentioned him in the last episode. I'm going to name check him at the end because the man's a legend. Yeah, just character, full on self-made man.
Yeah.
Started at the absolute bottom rung of his company, worked his
Right.
way right to the top.
Okay. Excellent.
And I think we'll really enjoy our 2 days chatting to him
Yeah. Even just without the golf, just kind of
without the golf.
listening to the stories.
I was at this
having the
wedding,
chats, yeah.
and I ended up talking to him more than anybody else.
Right,
You know,
okay.
my wife's there, so
Yeah.
he's just
Just
one of nice,
interesting.
good guys.
Yeah. Good.
Enjoys a good time as well.
Nice.
Now, one of the things he did say to me, which I found fascinating, like properly fascinating, was the way we'd gone about booking Gleneagles was we knew we wanted it was once in a lifetime opportunity,
Yeah.
and we were gonna stay there, take advantage of it, and actually have a proper stay.
Yeah.
Because it's silly otherwise. I think just you're going all that way up,
Yeah.
and then you're not doing it. Now, as a result, so we've had my previous false starts, I'll call them, in trying to schmooze my way to some kind of preferential treatment in some way, shape, or form. So, to the lovely lady who was on the phone who took my booking, she was very Scottish.
Yeah.
So I was struggling a little bit to understand what she was saying. However, I don't know why I put on the finest Queen's English. I was
hello there.
fully enunciating
It's
everything.
Nishant.
Yes, it's Lord Nish from Manchestershire. And so I said, now I cringe about it now, and I think because that's so burned on my memory about this. Because I went up in the bedroom to talk about it. I didn't want Emma to hear me, hear me talking. And I was like, obviously we're staying the night in the hotel.
Are we
Now,
gonna be? Is this like when we get to Gleneagles?
Mate.
Is this character just gonna come out and
I
it's
don't
just
think
gonna
it
be
is.
there with, like his smoking jacket on?
Like,
Going, oh, hello
fucking
there.
tweed blazers, and that's why I'm growing the beard and the tash.
You
I'm going to
can have
shave
a
it all
little,
off. I'll have a little tash just going up,
Nice little
curling
thank
up, flat caps, the lot.
you.
We're from Manchester Division now, that kind of stuff. Yes, so she was just like, I was like, so now, really sorry to ask, but I feel it'd be remiss of me not to ask. Now, I never use the word remiss. The only time I'm using it is when you're trying to be posh, right? So I've gone, it'd be remiss of me not to ask, but is there any chance we are coming to play golf? We're coming to play with a member.
Yep.
Now, we know he can't book his tee time till 3 weeks in advance of the actual day. But I'm just wondering, because obviously we're coming from such a long distance, it'll be great for us to know what the tee times are already. So is there any chance that we might be able to just reserve some tee times and we can sort everything out later, whatever?
Yeah.
And I hadn't even finished saying the sentence, which in my head I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen? What's she going to say? What's she going to say? She's going to tell us to bugger off, whatever. And she's just gone, of course, sir. There's no problem with that at all. Do you know your playing member's name? And I was like, Uncle Hendy. I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't actually know his first name. Like, I know his last name's Henderson, but that's it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh no, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry. What we'll do, and I mean, we said in the last one, but let's say it again. 41st best hotel in the world.
Yeah.
Like, service, we're expecting to just be second to none.
Yeah.
Well, second to 40 other hotels, sorry, I should say. But she didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
So well practiced to know what she's doing. She was strange with, of course, what we'll do, sir, for you, it's absolutely fine. I'll look at the tea time availability.
Yeah.
We'll book you in for a residence rate because you are staying in our wonderful hotel anyway.
Yeah.
And when the time is right and the time is opportune, Uncle Hendy remembers the name, everything.
Yeah.
Uncle Hendy can give us a call and he can add himself onto the tea time
Yeah.
and it'll be sorted, no problem. And I was like, oh, wonderful, that's amazing, no problem, thank you very much. And she's going like, I'm running through it. She goes, yeah, slight problem. Oh, here we go. Right, what's this now? We've got your postcode and we've done a Google
background check,
satellite Google map show. We've done a credit check. We've done a soft credit check on you. And she went, oh, we do have an event on the King's Course on the first day that you arrive, which is a Friday. So we don't have anything teeing off on the King's Course till really late in the day. I was like, oh no, we're actually eating in the restaurant, so that's probably not a good thing for us to do, and we're going to lose the light anyway. And she goes, but I'll get you on the Queen's first. A wonderful course. We'll get you on the Queen's first. Probably a good preamble to the Kings. Okay, yeah. She's just receptionist on the hotel, right? Just got to pat her down to a T. And then she goes, and then I'll have a look then what's on the for the King's Course the next day. So yeah, great. So she's booked us these tea times. So I think we're teeing off at 11 and 11:40 or 11 and 12, something like that. Now, I mentioned this in the last episode. So for regular listeners, pardon the repeat. If you've only heard this one, why have you only heard this one? You should be listening to other episodes. But I went there for the Ryder Cup, and I'm really looking forward to that. For that, just kind of that approach. We were on coaches, all that kind of stuff. So I remember the Gleneagles estate sign and all this kind of thing. What struck me with it is that I think the branding. I'm quite into this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the branding is quite modern.
Hmm.
Like there's some bits of the website and things like that have got that, they've got like traditional fonts and things like that, like frilly fonts and whatever.
Yeah.
But actually, like Gleneagles signs and things like that, when you actually get to the estate, and you'll see this when we drive in, we'll see Gleneagles in a big, like, there's a big G modern logo. It's really modern.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a couple of the guys that I've been chatting through on Instagram, just with who know more about Scottish golf. So Mark, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Paul, who we're going to go and play up at Carnoustie with.
Yeah.
And it feels like golf in Scotland is less stuffy. Generally.
I think it definitely is. Yeah.
Like it's real. It's like it's here for people to play.
But I think also just like in Scotland, not everyone, but there's a huge proportion of people that play golf, right, from every kind of walk of life. I think it's just a bit more. It's definitely you don't get as much of the snootiness, I don't think, in Scotland. I mean, sure you get some of it, but
I think
not
there's a couple places that have come up. I won't name the names. That's not fair on them really, but a couple places have come up, which I understand. They're really exclusive private clubs. People are paying 100 grand a year to be members.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna be a bit funny about who's there and all that kind of thing, but. I found that really interesting, and it was Paul actually who said to me, because we were talking just about some of the courses down south and things like that, and he was like, "Oh, none of that appeals to me." Now he's not trying to play top 100; he's just trying to play all the golf course in Scotland, as you do. But he's doing that for kidney research actually, and it's a wonderful story. So that I've donated money to him, and again he was very kind to donate, not donate, sorry. Feels like it a little bit, but he was very kind to invite us up to play in Carnoustie with him.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we got onto attire on the golf course, and I was like, oh, shorts and whatever. And he goes, I've played everywhere, and I've played some of the best courses in Scotland.
Yeah.
And I've worn shorts. He goes, if there's a course in Scotland that doesn't let you play with shorts, nobody's going there.
Yeah.
Like, because I know we don't get the weather that often, but
Yeah.
if the fact that is a rule, immediately most people go, I'm not going, because that's how we are. Like, we will just say we're not tolerating that. We're just not going to go. And I love that.
Yeah.
About Scottish golf is like it's the golf you're there for.
Yeah. It's interesting just thinking about that kind of exclusivity and Scottish golf.
You struggle with those.
I really do. Words, don't you? Especially ones I've got.
Exclusivity and inclusivity. That's
yeah. I'm just not very inclusive. That's the thing. So next to so this is something that I've kind of picked up in a little bit of research that I've done. There is one very, very, very exclusive golf course
right
on the Gleneagles estate. It's not quite on the Gleneagles estate though. It's just next door.
Right.
So it's not part of Gleneagles, but apparently from the course, from a couple of vantage points on the course,
okay,
you can see another golf course.
Okay.
So this other golf course is it must be the most exclusive golf course in the world. I think there's only 2 people that have ever played it,
British
plus
Vale.
a few friends. British Vale.
Yeah,
It's not British Vale.
Yeah.
So next to Gleneagles, there is a whole estate that this guy, so he's from the UAE, basically multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, whatever. He bought this plot of land just next to Gleneagles.
Right.
Which he then found Highland spring water underneath. So that is it Highland water?
Yeah, Highland Spring. So that's his
estate, and
accidental
he found the water
find
under there, and excavated the water.
So he's got oil in the UAE and water in Scotland,
which is effectively oil, isn't it?
Wonderful.
But anyway, so he basically was like, right, I've got this massive piece of land. I'm going to build an estate to try and compete with Gleneagles, basically. So he's going to build bigger, and I'm going to build better, and it's going to be more plush, and it's going to be
right
more exclusive. But anyway, so he ran into some financial difficulties around the sort of 2008 financial crash.
Right.
At this point, he'd already built the golf course, he'd built the clubhouse, but he'd not built the rest of the resorts. So he'd not built the
Everything's
hotel.
done.
He was going to build loads of like mansions and stuff on it as well. He'd not built that.
Right.
So he basically has got this golf course and a clubhouse, which looks apparently like this massive grand mosque thing. But it's still there. It's still a golf course that's maintained 100%. So it's got greenkeepers going around, keeping it up to date. Nobody's playing on it, so no one can go and play on it apart from him and his family. But yeah, so for 12 years he's been keeping this golf course going, this championship 7,500 yard golf course.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You think we'll be able to get on if we're gonna go and knock on?
I don't think so. But we can try.
People must have tried, surely.
You'd
right?
think so, because I mean, so many golfers must have been at
How did you hear about
Gleneagles.
this again? Sorry.
Just a
reading
rabbit hole of looking at Gleneagles stuff, and yeah, I can't quite remember how I first came up against
People
it.
must have tried that. They must have gone like, let's see if we can get on. Let's see if we can give the greenkeeper a bit of money and
Yeah.
see if we can.
Or
let
just
us on.
sneak on, right?
'Cause-
You're
or
in the
just
middle of the
sneak on,
Glens.
yeah.
I imagine this guy's not living there most of the time.
Oh,
He's probably got a fairly decent
might have
security
some
setup.
crazy, laser
Yeah.
security system set up. That's mental, isn't it? Because if you get on as well and you go, I said nobody's played this course.
I mean, it's either in terrible nick because it's not had any play, or it's an absolute pristine beauty of a golf course.
So did it say on where you read about this? Did it say where you can see this from, or is it just
Yes,
so
so I
obvious
think it's
that it's
the.
there?
Is it the seventh? I can't remember if it was on the Kings or the Queens course, but I think it was the seventh hole. So it was a par five. I think it might be the Queens actually. I think there's the one par five on the Queens, isn't there? Which I think is
Yeah.
the seventh. I think it's basically takes you out to the end of the estate,
Oh, and that's where it.
and that's where you can see it. It's kind of like just beyond the end of the Gleneagles estate.
Do you know
down
what?
there.
I'd love it if Hendy and Colin don't know about this.
Well,
we'll hit
I
them with
think you
that.
can see it pretty with you can
Oh,
see
is
the
it
golf
that right?
course
Okay.
pretty easily. So I think they will know about it. I'm sure.
Why aren't we playing there? Hendy?
Yeah.
Well,
Can you get
what's,
us in
what's,
there?
that is crazy, isn't
That's
it?
wild,
So what's it
isn't
called?
it?
The Ghost Course or something it's called.
Ghost course. I think it has got a
Is
name.
it something you can like get on maps and you can scroll in and
I mean,
zoom
there's
in
certainly
and see
pictures of it. Yeah, so it's called G West. Is the name of it.
West, that's a
Cool.
crap name, isn't
It's a
it?
crap name, but I mean,
Are they trying to go with Gleneagles West or something?
yeah.
Yeah. Is it west of Gleneagles by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, so maybe we should try and sneak on there as well.
Money, eh?
Make a little third. Yeah, I mean that's pretty wild, isn't it? Just keeping and maintaining an entire championship
I
golf
mean,
course
listen,
for
if
no one to
all
use.
of our listeners subscribed to our YouTube channel, I'd give it a few months and that could be us in a position to buy somewhere like that.
Or at least like
Yeah, I mean,
a
all
square,
eight,
me- a
all
square
eight
meter
people.
in the first tee.
Yeah, including my family. Yeah, I mean, wow. There's a little factoid for you. Please tell me that they don't know that. That'd be great. That'd be great. It was always nice, I think, when you do our playing with a member to like hit them with something. Oh, I didn't know that. You know. Oh, you didn't? Oh, you need to do your research about your club a little bit more. Yeah, so a little bit of history about it. Now, this is Queens and Kings, but all the holes are very traditional Scottish names as well,
Yeah,
which I really like.
They're quite cute in the names, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact names now, but yeah, I quite like that. And then there is a very unique feature about the Kings course. I think it's actually for the Queens as well, but it's come up in my Kings course research. So the halfway hut is on the 10th hole. What's that? That's not obviously not quite halfway. So what would you call that?
But it's the same halfway hut, isn't it?
It's a
for
shared
both
halfway
courses.
hut,
Yeah.
right? And what you do, and I love this, like this is like me all over this sort of stuff. You call in your order at the 10th tee, and it's ready for you when you finish the 10th hole.
But I just have visions of there just being like one of those kind of old school big kind of telephones, like from the Victorian times that you just
What
pick
would you
this.
like?
Hello.
And you're like, what have you got? Whatever you like, sir. We'll be able to make it for you.
Okay.
Like, okay. Can we have a club sandwich on gluten-free bread, please?
Or maybe it's just like totally modernised and it's just like a McDonald's drive-through. There's just like a faceless, touch screen.
Oh God, imagine. Yeah, I mean, I love that stuff like that.
I mean, that sounds like it's gonna be pretty high up on the halfway house ranking system.
Yeah, I mean, is
it?
this going to be basically like a clubhouse that we've seen at other places?
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I think
the
if you've got
shared.
a specific phone line to dial ahead for your order, I think that's going to be difficult to beat.
I think that's going to be tough to beat. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Plus, we get to play it twice, so we get to try all the favourites.
Well, that's true. That is true. we'll have one of everything, please.
Yeah,
Just save
yeah.
it some half for
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of stuff. I know I keep mentioning the previous episode, but we mentioned that Alex, uh, who is the top 100 golf guru, and he'd played. Sorry, he's done this exact same trip 3-4 weeks ago, and we're gonna get him on for the reviews. But like stuff like that is gonna be great
Yeah.
to chat about. Like, what did you think of that? But I think he mentioned something about Swindley Forest. So Swindley Forest is another golf course we've been able to get onto now. We won an auction to get on,
Yep.
and that feels again like a real exclusivity type place. Um, but that was another one. I think he said they got to the halfway hut, and he was sort of looking to pay for his gin and tonic,
Yeah,
and they
that's
were
right.
like, "Oh no, no, no."
We don't
So,
take one.
like, I think he rocked up, and they went, "Oh, won't say his last name, but hello, Mister," and sort of said his last name. He was like, "How do you know it's me?" He's like, "Oh no, we keep track of wherever that kind of thing." And it's like,
Yeah.
that service that's a different
It's kind
world,
of James
isn't it?
Bond-esque, isn't it?
It is a little bit.
Kinda
Yeah. I was going to mention it on the last episode. We didn't really talk, but Sean Connery came up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I follow them now, so obviously the news comes up all the time. But Stoke Park,
Okay. Yeah.
you've heard of Stoke Park,
Yeah.
where they filmed the last scene in Layer Cake as well. But that golf course and the whole hotel has been taken over, and it's got new ownership,
got to
and they've
reopen, isn't it?
reopened everything,
Yeah.
and you can get tee times now. Now it's not on our list.
Yeah.
However, I'm flying the flag for making it 101 because that Goldfinger
Yeah.
18th hole
Yeah.
when he mugs him off, that's burned in my memory as like I want to recreate that almost. I'd almost have like, and I'm happy to whoever. Like you could be Sean Connery if you want. I don't care.
I mean, I've got the looks, so yeah,
I
why
don't
not?
care who I am. I'll be on job. It's fine. But I want to just be there on that 18th green. That, yeah. I mean, that's an aside. Anyway, but yeah, this calling in, I think is a great thing. But the other thing that we both found out actually, didn't we? But the other thing we found out about the Kings Course at Gleneagles is it hosted the very first informal Ryder Cup match
Yeah.
between GB and Great Britain and Ireland. Great
Yeah.
Britain it was, and the USA.
Yeah.
And that was in 1921.
So we thought Moortown was the first Ryder
Yeah, that
Cup,
was
but
official, wasn't it? That was
yeah.
official.
There was
Samuel
unofficial.
Ryder has put his name to it, and whatever. But 1921 was the informal first match between Great Britain and.
Does that mean we have to do an informal match play?
What is an informal match play? Is that just
I
like
don't know,
nobody gives a shit, like
yeah,
just
we'll
work it out at the
go,
end?
Oh, it's probably 3 up.
Or just at the end, just go.
Yeah.
Oh, what did actually happen?
Feels
on that?
like I was about 3 up.
Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, we should do that anyway. I mean, it's a thing that we do, but
Sure.
I presume just on the King's Course though, because that's where they did it. So we'll do that, and then from my perspective, the only other real thing I've got to kind of bring to the table on this one is the course renovations that have been done.
Yeah.
To take it back to Mr. Braid's original designs.
Yeah.
I'd actually watched a video where they talked about they'd uncovered a load of sketches that he made.
Yeah.
And pardon me, and that's what helped inform the
the redesign.
The restoration, I suppose,
Yeah,
back to his original work. So
Yeah.
I think it's in the 80s they'd and good time to bring it out, I suppose. But you've played there before.
I've played one of the courses before. But I
can't remember which one.
Don't know which one.
Brilliant. It was memorable.
It was that memorable. I was only a kid. I was very young. And it was like a charity golf day with my dad's work. So I suspect it was probably the Queen's course that I've played, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what gives you the suspicion it was the Queen's course?
Don't know.
You just
don't
have
know.
a feel
It just feels like that would be the more natural place to host something like that.
Yeah.
Where there's people that haven't really played golf before. I mean, I literally just started playing golf at that point.
Right.
Probably played golf for I don't know a year or less.
On the fun one rather than the serious one,
the big
sort of
one.
thing.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I remember it was brutally tough.
Was it?
Yeah. But I mean, I was probably
so.
playing. I was probably high 20s handicapper at that point.
All right, let's not scoff at that. Interesting that. I think, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I suppose we don't know, but it seems like in the 80s they obviously decided to go, let's make this hard
Yeah.
as a golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
I think
basically brought the rough in by a lot and grew it very tall.
I brought it up in the Woodall Spa review,
Yeah.
and it was a comment I made to you on the drive back. And I was like, is golf supposed to be our level?
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be that hard?
Hard. Yeah.
Because surely it's not designed to break you
No.
completely. You're supposed to have moments. You're supposed to feel,
Yeah.
I can do this.
I mean, I think as I didn't get a chance to come do the Woodall Spa one, but there weren't many points during that day where you thought, do you know what, I can make a birdie here. Apart from maybe the par threes, where you've always got a
Yeah,
chance,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
Or at least I've always got a chance anyway. But yeah, I don't remember having many birdie putts that day, and that's pretty unusual for me. Like normally I'll have a few bad holes, but I'll have some
Get
birdie
the odd chances,
opportunities.
yeah.
But I don't feel like I really had if I did have them, they were long, tricky putts.
Relentlessly tough golf course that was.
It was.
But we survived it.
Yeah.
I think there's only
I still enjoyed it. I didn't not enjoy it, but I know what you mean. Like
I said the same thing to Jim. It was like it was still it was enjoyable because the weather was great. You know, we were excited about being there, and actually we did intermittently play some decent golf as well. But I think it was mentally that was a tough. It warranted its hardest.
Oh, definitely,
rating
for sure.
You know, I think that was justified. But then also I was glad we didn't do a review as we were driving back.
Because you came off going. That's probably one of the worst ones we played. You didn't say that. You didn't say it in those
like
words.
The course,
in terms of ranking it, you were ranking it fairly low, weren't you?
Yeah. I've revisited that since because that's fullness of a bit of thinking time and whatever. I still really enjoyed that round of golf.
Yeah.
And actually, I got birdie for God's sake. Like it's great. It's very rare I do that.
Yeah.
So the shots that you do play well, you've really earned them.
Yeah,
really earned them.
Yeah.
But actually, it was a really good all round test of my golf. And I said to Jim, "Is like if my driving goes awry, that seeps into the rest of my round and my play. If my driving goes well, it seeps into the rest of my round. So as I now know, and I felt better about it. I probably had that reaction initially when I was in the car, just because I probably still hadn't processed what you'd actually said to me about my shoulder turn.
Yeah.
And since then, I was like, hang on a minute. And obviously watched it all back. I was like, no, I think he's right there.
Well, interestingly for you, Nish, and we've played quite a few rounds together now, haven't we, over the last few years? I've never seen your short game as bad as it was at Woodall Spa.
The short game was bad, wasn't it?
Short game, your chipping and
couldn't
putting
chip at all, was I? Well, could I?
Really bad.
Yeah. I think
for you,
putting,
like it was.
Putting wasn't great.
Like normally, your putting is solid.
It's there, isn't it?
It's there, and
I'm averaging two, and that's it. It's very rare.
You have a shy at the hole on most puts.
My chipping wasn't good at all.
Yeah, no, you were your short game was.
I don't.
But I think you'd almost just talking yourself out of it. I think because you were hitting back, you weren't hitting good shots from tee to green. I think you were then just. I think you just lost your shit basically.
I felt like so I bag Garmin out quite a lot because I feel like this hasn't been a good investment, this watch.
Yeah.
However, I do have the club sensors.
Yep.
And then the Garmin Golf app, I think, is brilliant.
Right. Okay.
So it gives you a full rundown, and that's what I was doing with Jim in the review. Because I was like, because if it's me and you there, we sort of can remind each other and whatever. And I was like, actually, I need to visualize this a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it tells you everywhere your shots were and what's around. And I think the thing that did me at Woodall Spa was hole number one. Now this is going to sound stupid.
The first shot of the day.
But hole number one, I hit a bunker shot and it went across the green into another bunker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that was the moment where I think subconsciously that freaked me out.
Yeah.
So from that moment, I couldn't commit to any bunker shot because for whatever reason, in the back of my head, I must have just had. If you go long, you're in another bunker. And then I was just still in a bunker again.
But if you watch the videos, I kept watching it all day in the bunkers, Nish. And obviously I wasn't here to talk about this in the last podcast, but every time you were in a bunker, you'd kind of like half swing, and then you
just no commitment.
Absolutely, there was no commitment. Like you were just like, hey, like a tiny little
that's
thing.
Exactly what it was.
No follow through. There was nothing. I was like, Nish, you're never gonna get out of any of this bunkers playing like that.
And the ones where I did get out were the ones where I've gone committed.
Fuck yeah, and I need to get out of this bunker now.
Well, the couple of ones that I got out like first time, one was a sort of semi-fairway bunker. It was a long sand scrape basically, so I didn't have the fear factor of like I've got to get it up or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just like just swing through it, it's fine. And the other one was it was actually on the signature hole challenge when I was in the same bunker. I'd done 2 shots already, and I was like, I'm just gonna chip it out here, just like I do a normal chip, but I just went.
Yeah.
I just like, and it actually was the right shot. Like it worked out
I had
well.
to delete all the photos off my my phone after that round. There's so much footage of you in those bunkers.
That's all it was. That's all it was. But yeah, that did for me. I think I'm fragile in bunkers generally anyway.
Okay.
That full on did for me. Is like if I
Yeah.
even if I do get it out, and if I
I'm
do
gonna
my
be in
regular
another
and
one.
it's gone long,
Yeah.
then I'm in another one, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, I just almost kind of, well, whatever. Let's not dwell on Woodall's
Yeah.
Farner. Let's dwell on the 89 bunkers they got at the Queen's Course instead. But yeah, so yeah, I suppose we didn't get a chance to speak about that, did we? But I'm not expecting that this time round because I think I'm going to go full tilt on my bunkers. Yes, so Chris, is there anything else you would like to add about
I
the
don't
King's
think so. I think
Course?
just generally, I'm very excited to go and be around the Gleneagles estate.
Yeah, I think it's going
Full
to bring back
stop.
some lovely memories for me for that Ryder Cup. That was amazing.
One thing that I did hear and heard a couple of times is that obviously the level of service that you get at Gleneagles is incredible. But like, if you're staying in the hotel, there's just basically buggies that'll take you anywhere. But like
What?
the practice range is quite far away because it's near the Centenary course. So I just imagine us just getting up in the
Amazing.
morning, chucking our
Amazing.
bags in the back of a golf cart and go to the practice ground, please.
Yes. I'm gonna have to do that with my Tash now,
Yeah,
aren't I?
yeah.
Yeah, just do that. I'm gonna have to like dig out all the nice suitcases and what have you. Obviously very much looking forward to it. Our side bet, rolling over from the last episode, is for the 2 rounds because this is another back-to-back couple of courses
So
we're
this
playing.
is one side bet over 2 rounds, is it? It's not
It's
two.
yeah, Jim's just put side
Okay.
bet lowest aggregate score over both
For both.
rounds.
Wow. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. This one, isn't
So
it?
have we agreed if we're handicap adjusting these, or we're just going full on what
I'm
we
happy
shoot?
to handicap adjust. I think that's.
I mean, I put that to Jim. I mean, do you know what? Actually, he's not here, so I shouldn't take this away from him because I know what he'd be saying.
Yeah.
He's
It's
like,
ultimately it's his choice,
it's
right?
his choice.
Yeah.
I've given him the freedom to do that,
hmm
and he said no, just lowest gross.
I mean, it's perfectly plausible that you would beat me lowest gross over the 2 days. That's more
On
than
handicap
possible.
or just generally?
Just generally. Like,
Yeah, well,
I can have a bad day, and
yeah, I'm
you know,
gonna start psyching you out, and you put in.
I think you
So
beat me. There's quite a few of the days that you would have handsomely beat me, like S&A.
I mean, on points,
On S&A gross, you would have hammered me that day.
but Stableford,
Yeah.
I'm giving you a pasting.
Oh yeah,
To
I
be
would
honest.
imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously now your official handicap's coming at 11.1.
Yeah.
That's
11.8 now actually.
is it 11.8 now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's mugging you off. But yeah, that's made it harder for you to score, hasn't it? On some of these courses. But
Yeah.
I mean, I say that mine's 16.6, so
Yeah, 65 shots.
still pretty tough to score that. But no, we'll keep it to the complete pros. And when the three of us are together,
Okay.
I feel like I'm gonna make a note. I feel like this needs to be discussed further because I do think now we have our handicaps, it should be handicap adjusted because that's the whole point of a handicap.
Yeah.
That anybody can give anybody a game and beat them, but it's on level terms to a degree.
I honestly,
To a
I
degree.
don't think there'll be that much dip between us.
Well, what are we now? I've done the running count.
I mean,
so
apart
on
from
our
the last
side.
round and the Silith round, we've
Yeah.
both been pretty close on the scores on the days, haven't we?
I think
You must have beat me
even,
at
I
Abu-
was
you beat
10
me at
shots
Abu
ahead of
Dhabi.
you at Silith actually. Yeah, you had a
Silith I had a
pretty you
nightmare.
had a disaster at Silith.
Woodall Spa, you had a nightmare, but you take those two out of it,
Yeah,
and
we've
we're
been
pretty
pretty
close.
I think.
There's only been a couple of shots in it either way, probably.
But I think like Jim said, I was only 1 shot behind going into round 6
Yeah,
on the full
yeah.
just what we shot. So
So I don't think there's that much in it.
yeah, that doesn't suit my narrative though, Chris.
Fine.
So
Let's just ignore that then.
ignore that completely. So our side bet is that, and we'll keep it to that. We'll keep
Okay.
it to the course has gone back to the original, and its original ethos and its original design. So we'll keep our side bet to the original.
The
that
original
Jim sent
ethos
us.
that Jim, yeah.
We'll
Okay.
not try and
Jim,
alter it.
Jim Braid gave us.
Jim Braid, yeah, that's it. Now he has though sent us the signature hole challenge.
Okay, yeah.
Now this one's called the last on the Queen's one. It was called Queenshaim. This one's called Kingshaim.
Okay.
Now I wonder if I'm saying it wrong
And
and it's
just
actually home,
Yeah.
but it is
Now that I
actually
know
written
that.
HAME on his message. So
Hume.
him, King's hit. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Jim's signature hole challenge is to do the lowest number of shots to the green.
Okay.
Okay, so let's.
So
So
there's both
that's
signature holes are the 18th then at
both
Gleneagles.
of the
That's
18th.
fairly unusual, isn't
I
it?
wonder if that's because the backdrop is like the clubhouse and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and that's
probably. You've
part
got the
of it.
hotel and
Yeah,
probably the first one was downhill, wasn't it? The Queen's.
Queens was
Is the
downhill.
King's downhill to the?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. But yeah, the 18th hole, lowest number of shots to the green. Okay, on a par five. All right, I think I could take you on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a long course, and actually, if you miss, then that's all good.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Fine. Side bet's done. Signature hole challenge is done.
Sweet.
Be a bit longer than the Queen's one because the Queen's one is just longest drive, I think. I'm presuming all normal caveats apply. We
Got to
should
be on
check.
the fairway.
Got to be on the fairway.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be your first one, obviously.
Yeah.
And a fewest number of shots to the green. It's got to be hit the green, hold the green.
Yeah.
I think we've reached an accord on the rules of engagement, I suppose. Did we cover what the par was? We covered it's past 68.
68, I think. They're both past 68, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, 68, 6,125 yards. Yeah, great. I think the whole thing's going to be epic. I think.
Yeah.
And you are right, Chris. I'm interested to see how we feel it fits in the rankings because we're looking at 38 for the Kings and 77 for the Queens.
Yeah.
77. If I just have a quick scan of the list, I probably should have done this a little bit earlier. But it's worth just having a look just to see kind of what's around it that we've played because we played, or this year anyway, we've got a lot of courses in the 20s, I think, that we're playing.
Yeah.
And it'll be good to know kind of where these. So around Gleneagles, we've got all Woodley.
Which ones? Sorry.
So this is Kings. 38. Okay. So around that, there's Royal Liverpool, Hoylake.
Yeah.
Walton Heath, Loch Lomond.
Okay.
All Woodley. Troon is 32. Prestwick is 34. Some big hitters there. You know. St. Enodoc is 29. Porthcawl is 27. So that's kind of around. Oh, Ganton 25.
Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of hovering around Gleneagles, I suppose. Hovering around King's Course, I should say. Hovering around the Queen's Course. Royal St. David's.
Okay.
Yeah, Royal St. David's. Have I got these as an Abu Dhabi? Yeah.
Right. So similar
hovering around Queen's Course, but I suppose they're not similar kind of type of courses, though, are they?
Yeah, they are. They're almost hard to kind of compare, aren't they, in some ways? But yeah, so it's 2 places above St. David's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'd also like to see, because we're doing our review we're filming and recording the reviews on the Tuesday after we come back. So it's only a few days. We've got a few things on because it's a bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see because we're not going to get a chance to really talk about our thoughts on the course as such.
Not really, no.
Normally there's a drive involved and we talk about it there.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we'll have a little chat over a drink
afterwards.
after Queens, but I think after Kings you're probably just going to go on very quickly.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
I'll be interested to see if we have an opinion on how we feel about that course and whether we think the entirety of the experience changes how we feel about it, or we just stick to the golf. It's the first time we're faced with this problem. Do we stick to the golf, or do we?
Yeah. I think it almost
charmed by the Scottish
as it's a resort. I think you almost have to kind of wrap it all up into one, don't you? In some ways,
I think you do. It's what you're going to get when you go there.
We've always said that we're all about the experience of playing those golf courses as much as just the actual courses themselves. So I think we've got to roll it up in there, haven't we?
Well,
and it's almost impossible to to segregate the two, right?
It's
Really,
got to be.
because your
Yeah.
mood and your expectations and your excitement is
Yeah.
all kind of built into the weekend.
Yeah,
right?
how do you slate one course and
Yeah.
although we find out, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
Watch this space. Yeah, I just think that kind of somebody might only. I mean, it sounds on paper if you're only ever going to play one or two top 100 courses in your lifetime,
Yeah.
do this
Yeah.
because two things you can probably take your other half
Yeah.
because they're going to have a great time. They're not going to miss you while you're playing. I mean, if anything, I'd rather that Emma was playing golf and I was in the spa. But
we can do that.
you've
If we get beat up by the Queens on the first day, we'll just
Send them
sod
out.
the Kings off, and they can go and play, and we'll sit in the spa all day.
Yeah. Or just don't even bother sending them out, save the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting that welcome matters, service matters, that all that does play into it. And yeah, do you kind of go all out and do this one as a double header? I don't know. I'll be fascinated to speak to Alex about this because that's going to be part of our reviews of the golf courses. But yeah, I don't think I know. It's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'm going to be pretty tipsy all weekend. I mean, I've got my hip flask from the wedding. I might even just take a little wee dram out with me. I don't really know, but you had me at Bloody Mary Station.
Yeah.
Breakfast buffet.
7 a.m. Bloody Mary.
I mean, that's got me. That really has.
I mean, you can't say no
Love
to that,
a Bloody
can you?
Mary as well.
With a hangover, yeah.
Absolutely love a Bloody
Definitely.
Mary. I mean, we're going to be hungover, Chris. There's no chance on Saturday morning we're not hungover.
No, it's unlikely.
I got a question for you then.
Sure.
So we are expecting pretty mega hangovers because we'll have played golf, we'll be tired. We'll probably hit the spa just before we go to dinner, and we're going all out for dinner.
Yeah.
And we can do this bar crawl, whatever. You wake up in the morning, you go, oh, I need to have a Bloody Mary just to sort me out and get my head in the game. We go out and we hit the Kings.
Yeah.
And you said one of your objectives was to shoot something in the 70s.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah.
And you shoot low 70s.
Yeah.
Does that change your pre-round
routine?
It's
the Bloody Mary, and off we go.
Have to have breakfast at Gleneagles every time. But yeah, I mean, I know. Let's.
I mean,
say,
it's interesting though because
do you think our practice will be truncated in the morning? That's the question.
Possibly, because we're probably going to want to experience the hotel and stuff, aren't we? But also we're only going to experience the practice facilities. I mean, we've got time, right? We're not going
elite practice facilities,
yeah.
self-described, but
we're not going to be megally rushed. I don't think, are we?
No, I think it's 12. I think on the Saturday, but
yeah,
it does depend how heavy we go.
True.
We've got, where is it now? I've lost the King's Course. Oh, actually, King's 11:30. That is.
All right. Okay.
Got.
Okay.
So it's not crazy later.
No, it's
but
not
it's
crazy
enough
late.
to give you a time to have a relaxed breakfast.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary or 4. Yeah, I mean, do you just go, actually, this is great. I feel all like.
I mean, we've talked about it before, haven't we, about drinking and golfing, and we both kind of said we just don't do that. But one of the few experiences of doing it was when we did your birthday round, a halfway hut, had a beer at the halfway hut, and after that,
right out.
I was absolutely flying. So maybe like, there is
golfing juice in there, wasn't there? Yeah. You were on fire after that.
Maybe that is the
that's
the
now?
key.
Am I driving to all these courses
to
now?
Be fair, it probably works these days because most of my poor golf probably comes from anxiety these days rather than anything else. Just like that constant thought process, which I never used to have when I played golf. It's just an age thing or a ability thing now. I don't know, but just like constant self-doubt.
Yeah.
After a couple of drinks,
I mean, I've said to you before,
a
couple of times you've hit a golf ball and I was like, Chris, it looks like there's about 200 things.
Oh, yeah.
And we won't have played since we played at Woodhall Spa.
And what did I say after Woodhall Spa? I was like, this time, Nish, I'm not just going to not play until the next one. I'm going to go away. I'm going to practice. and
That's
I'm gonna play a couple of rounds between
Turns
then
out
and
we're
now.
doing the same.
I've not hit a single golf ball since.
No, I've not. I've been a bit gutted about that, but
Yeah.
my hands have been itching a little bit. I have to say, I've been really wanting to get out there, but
Yeah.
there's just no time.
I'm not sure I'm gonna get a chance to play before
No,
Gleneagles
me
either,
neither.
so
I
I
don't
might
think
try
so.
and squeeze a range
Just have to
session
make
in,
sure
but-
these
Oh,
elite.
actually, that's not true. I've got a lesson on Saturday morning,
Oh, well, there you go.
so we'll see how that goes.
There you go. What are you concentrating on this time?
Gonna go back and have another look at swing again, just to
Yeah.
fine tune it, tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, because your
Um,
irons were great, weren't they?
Just getting that longer
Driver.
stuff, just getting the weight across again, just making sure I'm doing that. And I know that that's what I need to do, but sometimes I just need
That
someone
might
to
not
tell
be
me.
as important, Chris,
Tell
though,
that to
this round.
true.
So, yeah.
It will be when I have to blast it 350 yards on the last hole to get onto the green to beat you on the.
Yeah, when I've
The
just
long
nudged
drive
it right to
challenge.
the edge of the green with my
Yes.
drive. Just gone, oh,
Through the back.
what's happened here? This is great. I love stuff like that. That's great. Right, thanks, Chris. I think that was a good preview and flavour of what's to come.